Men feel responsible for all of this shit. Financially balancing everything, resolving conflicts between wife and his own family, between himself and her family, taking decisions for everyone. He becomes a bloody mediator, not a partner. He's just pushed into these roles, thinking that we can just leech him to whatever end we want and then just throw him like an ATM. Zero space for men's mental health. A woman, when she's expressing emotions, is seen as valid. Whereas if a man does so, it is seen as weak. Men also carry a lot of financial. Yo guys, namaskaram. So in this video, I wanted to talk about more from a male perspective that why a lot of men feel trapped, angry, or silent in marriages. You see that there's just no joy among married people. And I feel that a lot of men who are particularly Gen Z, let's say in that age bracket of 25 to 30, they are afraid of losing themselves inside marriages. Today, we'll talk about something that not a lot of us touch. Men are raised to be providers, not humans. Boys grow up hearing आदमी रोते नहीं, लड़के रोते नहीं, men don't cry, boys don't cry, the entire responsibility is yours, money, everything is on you. No one teaches them about safe emotional expression, boundaries, talking a lot healthily about whatever they feel in their heart, handling genuine pressure. We are just treated as these ATM machines with suppressed emotions. And then there are like a lot of modern expectations plus the traditional roles that the society expects us, which creates an impossible load upon people. So there's a video about, you all have seen roadies. So the creator of it, Raghu, he runs a YouTube channel by the name of Raghu Walks. Maybe I'll just react on it on my Hindi channel. He had talked in this video that if men genuinely start expressing their emotions, women would not be able to understand or just take that load. A lot of vulnerability is just not expected out of men. It's usually the other role, like, the females generally do that, this emotional venting and all of that. But anyhow, today's men face contradictory demands. Be emotionally available all the time, be financially strong, be masculine but also soft. Provide like your father, spend like a modern boyfriend, never complain. You see these contradictions. This is coming from a mind which does not even know what they are from the core. This mismatch creates silent frustrations, and a man is just expected to keep on chasing these goalposts which keep on shifting every day. A lot of men, so in that video only, which I mentioned, Raghu talked about that how a lot of men delete themselves after marriages and things like that. And then coming to our great Indian laws, they are old but used in modern context. Laws were built when women weren't like financially independent. They were just dependent on males. But now a lot of things have changed. Many misuse cases exist these days still. The 498A cases, fake harassment claims, dowry claims, domestic violence, child custody claims, whatnot. Men fear marriage because the legal system gives them zero protection. They just treat them as ATMs because the lawyer is earning money. The whole system is becoming rich of a man's sweat and blood, honest man's sweat and blood. A lot of us are pressurized to marry early and it just crushes their ambition. I've seen famous YouTubers who talks about like you have this sweet spot between 25 to 30 to get married. After that, the dating pool gets slow, which is completely idiotic because the gentleman in that context was coming from a successful relationship perspective. To understand those rich people who always had, let's say, quote unquote, the best options, the cream to choose from. For a lot of middle class and people coming from poverty or just rising into middle class and maybe just coming from middle class to going up and up, not a lot of these choices exist. Always just see the context from where a person is coming from. Marriages become this sort of deadline, not a decision. A man who is still growing gets trapped in responsibilities way too early of maybe the wife, and if he's unable to control his or her own lust, children. Maybe the couple was not ready to bear children, but it just happened, and then a lot of child abuse, but not proper care is given, a lot of traumas and things like that. Again, my classic point, marriage means pleasing two families in our country. It's not just husband and wife, it's just husband plus wife plus my family plus their family plus you get the in-laws, relatives, rituals. Men feel responsible for all of this shit. Financially balancing everything, resolving conflicts between wife and his own family, between himself and her family, taking decisions for everyone. He becomes a bloody mediator, not a partner. He's just pushed into these roles, thinking that we can just leech him to whatever end we want and then just throw him like an ATM. Zero space for men's mental health. A woman, when she's expressing emotions, is seen as valid, whereas if a man does so, it is seen as weak. Men also carry a lot of financial anxiety, career pressure, loneliness, emotional suppression. Some face, you can say, depression, lot of guilt. There are like a lot of other problems which not a lot of men talk openly. Most break from the inside out silently. And then we fear losing freedom before marriage, late night gaming, okay. Travel, okay, we can do that. Friends, okay, whenever we want. Personal space, okay, that's also there. After marriage, everything needs negotiation, and if I may add the word permission, because a lot of simps marry way, way too early. They'll be like the slave to the other person to just seek a validation. I don't know why. Proper balance among both the parties, but just one being a slave of the other. Most Indian men feel marriage means losing their own individuality. Well, in the first place, they don't even know who they are. So this is just for people who at least have taken some effort to find themselves. Losing choices, losing a lot of peace. Choices in this term of career, maybe sometimes finding better partners, but they're just being pushed into these roles. So you see, there's also this trend of just performing all the time, having these high performance pressures without any appreciation. In Indian households, no one claps for the man who pays all the bills. Hard work is just expected because there's so much competition instead of being genuinely valued. Men are rewarded for providing, fixing, sacrificing, but really for being themselves. I think the sacrifice concept is also prevalent from a woman perspective, but you see how distorted this whole thing is. This emotional starvation creates resentment, burnout, and then it just explodes in a very wrong way in a lot of places where it's just not needed. A lot of men feel replaceable in modern dating because the modern dating culture tells men about earning more, be more masculine, romantic, be more expressive, be more everything. What the hell comes in that everything? No one knows, but just be more. Meanwhile, they fear that if they slip once, they would be seen as boring, outdated, maybe replaced by someone who is more man enough. This constant performance anxiety just transfers into marriage and everything. Men are not allowed to say no. Men can't say no to financial requests, family demands, career sacrifices, marriage pressure, societal expectations, and this whole trend of saying no is seen something as being selfish, especially from the context of marriages. So they silently carry this load until all hell breaks loose. And then masculinity, like genuine masculinity. I know that this word is loaded a lot, but we just need to understand it from the right context. It's just mocked instead of being understood. If a man is strong and ambitious, he's termed as toxic. If he's soft and emotional, weak. They have no acceptable identity left within them. They are pushed for being sometimes too masculine, and they are punished also at the same time for being too masculine. All this just leads to a lot of confusion, frustration, and ability to just understand life in its truest context. And I think the biggest fear is losing control over one's life, because for a man, his biggest motivation is just to have a certain sense of control as to where he is going. They are afraid of losing financial control because of this one wrong choice, losing emotional space, losing time to build themselves, losing ambition, losing a sense of identity which they get. For some, it could just be from playing games. He feels really, really happy doing that. Or it could be anything, losing peace, losing freedom, and a lot of other things, purpose. All these things just drive men. So, this is like a classic trap by the Indian community that it's sold as this noble partnership, but in reality, it's just a very traditional thing that is being pushed down our throats. So, I think these were like some of my sins from a man perspective. That why is it that men feel like silently trapped and angry? Anyhow, you write your comments. What do you feel about this video? What are your experiences been? So yeah, I think this is it for this video. Do write your limitations. What have you broken? How much work you have done? And I'll catch you in the next video. So until then, this is Debu Pindra from Debu Ki Dastak signing off. Cheers.